It's the Friday edition of the Locked On NFL podcast. Chris Carter and your boy Q breaking it down for you. We're going to talk about the Dolphins and some potential drama with Tyreek Hill, talking about what happened with his departure from the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as playing some cap or no cap, one of your favorite segments. It's going to be a fun, exciting Friday. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On NFL, your daily NFL podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On NFL podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carter, with my co-host, your boy Q, breaking it down for you here on a Friday, as we always do here on the Locked On NFL podcast that you can find on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, and YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, hit the like button on the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button to our YouTube page to get all of our daily Monday through Friday episodes, as well as episodes of Matt Williamson and Brian Peacock show, and all the different shows that we offer here on this channel. We also want to remind you that today's show is brought to you by BlueNile.com. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Sports listeners will get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement rings. Be sure to use the code Locked On at checkout. We'll talk more about that later. Q, what's up, man?
Man, what's happening? It's Friday. Let's finish off the week really strong, man. There's a lot of football to talk about. OTAs have been cracking across the league. Lots of news and notes to get to. It's always funny we talk about off seasons, and it really doesn't feel like much of an off season. Slow down a little bit, but not a whole lot, man. Still a lot going on. So excited to be with you on another Friday talking about it.
Same here. Now OTAs are well underway for everyone, and everyone's looking at their workouts and mini camps coming up and all this other stuff before the big lull before training camp. But there's been stuff going on with the Miami Dolphins now. Well, at least with Tyreek Hill. Now we saw the big highlight that the Dolphins put out there of Tyreek Hill catching a pass from Tua Tagovailoa, him fitting it right in before the defender. Now they've done this a couple times. Q, I don't know about you. I saw this pass. And it was on point. It was there, but it looked like it was one-on-one coverage, and there was still a lot of space behind Tyreek. Like maybe Tua could have put it further. Even if it could, I'm sorry. I'm not just getting all hype about OTA passes just yet.
No, I'm not either. And I think that Miami is doing something that they know that everyone's looking for. They want to show that Tua is really the guy, and I'm not sure if they're convinced. So, it's one of those situations where you're trying to convince yourself. I feel like Miami's still trying to convince themselves that Tua is the guy. They put a lot of weapons there. They have a heck of a head coach. At least it looks like they have a heck of a head coach. They had a really good offensive mind there in San Francisco, even though he didn't call the plays, and Coach McDaniel. So I think that they have some good weapons. But it's going to always boil down, Chris, to the same question. Is Tua the guy? So many people in Miami are still trying to question it because, they could have had Justin Herbert. Instead, they got Tua. So now they got to prove that was the right guy. So I think that I think some of these videos that they're putting out social media wise, I think some of it is still trying to convince themselves that they have the right guy at the quarterback position.
Certainly could be. But let's also talk about something that interesting came up with Tyreek Hill giving a preview of his own podcast that's coming out soon. And he was talking about, he kind of let on about how his time in Kansas City supposedly did not end because he wanted some certain amount of money. He said he claims he wanted to stay in Kansas City and that he felt mistreated, or that they didn't want him as much. And
I find to be BS, man. I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off. I
find
go for it. I find that to be BS. Him and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, they're on this video. It's a little teaser for the podcast coming out. And I respect the commercial or the tease that it is to get people intrigued and want to hear more. But, to even try to even say that, his stats were kind of dumbed down a little bit. They didn't really use him as much as they could because they didn't want to have to pay him a whole lot of money when it came time to renegotiate the contract. It's just, I'm just not buying that. Look, Tyreek Hill was one of the best weapons Kansas City had. Kansas City decided that they weren't going to give him top market dollar, and that happens. Devontae Adams, he looked like a guy that was going to be in Green Bay forever until he wasn't. Tyreek Hill looked like he'd be in Kansas City until he wasn't. look, you got the bag from Miami. You picked that location. You have Tua. I think that Tyreek Hill obviously would like to stay with Patrick Mahomes because I think no matter how good Tua can be, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Not only that, I just this seems like a lot of the game we're about to play capping. It just seems
Right.
this like the Dolphins are capping over Tua. Tyreek Hill is capping over why he left Kansas City. These things aren't a good sign for me. And this, of course, is also an organization that's capping about why they let go of Brian Flores in the first place. The head
Right.
coach that got them their only back-to-back winning seasons since what, 2002, something like that.
Right.
And this is all OTs. And I tell people all the time, whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Chiefs, whether it's anybody, don't put a lot of stock into OTAs unless like someone gets hurt or something. But like the
Right.
stuff that you see, like in Pittsburgh right now, every day I'm asked, Chris, how does Kenny Pickett look? Is he throwing? Is he doing this? I'm like, you know what? If he throws a touchdown or an interception, that's not going to determine how he's going to actually play down the line. Now, if he's consistently bad in OTAs, that's a
Right.
story. But
Yeah.
very few guys are that consistently bad or that consistently amazing in OTAs. It's football in shorts. That's all this is. It's warming up. It's getting things ready. But I'll tell you what, when you have multiple storylines that are kind of like, wait, what's really going on here? Why are we even doing this right now? That's when I say, maybe there's something going on there.
Yeah, I agree. And so it's funny because we love football so much. We do take a lot of stock in what's going on in OTAs. But I just find this Tyreek Hill situation, it's almost like, they're trying to. And look, this was just a teaser to the podcast. So who knows what he's really going to say
Right.
when the
Because
podcast
this
is
could
actually
go in a
released.
different direction.
Right, exactly. But I just kind of feel like it's almost him and his agent trying to save face. Like, no, we wanted to stay in Kansas City. No, it wasn't about the money. No doubt we wanted to be there, but Kansas City just didn't want us. So I just feel like it's not like buyer's remorse. It's not like they're saying, oh man, it's so disappointing being in Miami right now, because I'm sure he's having a great time being there. Of course, he's got the bag and they have a hell of an offense. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. They do have a lot of weapons there in Miami. They just, going back to Tua Tagovailoa, got to find out if that's the trigger man. And I'm interested to see how his stats look this year compared to what they did last season, because he had Patrick Mahomes. And like I said before, no matter what Tua does, no matter how good he looks, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
And that's just the truth. I mean, right now, and he can make some serious steps forward, but he's not going to be able to get to that Patrick Mahomes level. And again, even if Tua is the most efficient version of himself, he doesn't have the cannon that Mahomes had that allowed Tyreek Hill to show off that speed all the time that we were always talking about with him getting down the field. Mahomes could hit him anywhere, and that's what allowed Tyreek Hill's speed to kind of just show in straight lines down the field. Tua's going to have to put some air under, as you see on some of those throws that the OTAs that they try to make look really good. And again, I'm not saying that Tua's going to stink. I'm not saying that the Dolphins are going to stink, but some of this just seems like you're trying a little too hard to get this specific message across so that people outside the organization will think a different thing. You need to not care about that stuff right now. You got a lot of things to clean up if you're the Miami Dolphins. You got a lot of things to prove. Because here's the other thing. If the Miami Dolphins fold this year, one, Tua is going to be in a lot of trouble. That's going to look even worse. They're going to have to fix all that. Two, it's going to look even worse after the Brian Flores situation, when it's like, dang, so Brian Flores accused you of trying to make pay him to lose on purpose, and then as soon as he's gone, y'all can't even hold up hold the season up with this extra talent you brought in on the roster. So I think that this is, this could be nothing. This could be something that gets forgotten down the line. But I am not feeling the vibes from Miami right now as far as that everything's going hunky-dory over there.
Yeah, like I said at the top, man, I think they're trying to convince themselves that everything is going good, right? I think they're trying to tell themselves, no, everything's fine. It's almost like when you got that female that is out with her ex, and you're like, nah, that was just a coincidence that they happen to be in the same place. Nah, it's a coincidence that she's not answering my phone calls. Nah, it's a coincidence that, nobody answered the door when I went to her house. No, it's not. She's cheating, dummy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. And, I think that a lot of dudes have been there. Not me, but I think a lot of dudes have been in that position before. Hey, man, I was born that night, not last night.
Not last night. No.
So I'm just saying, sometimes people try to convince themselves, whatever the case may be, they try to convince themselves. And I really feel like Miami is trying to do that job of convincing themselves. And take a step further, I think Tyreek Hill is trying to convince himself that he made a good decision asking for his way out of Kansas City instead of just going ahead and staying there and having Patrick Mahomes. This dude had 111 catches last season. He had 1,239 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had the most catches in his career and the second most yards he's ever put up in his career. And he even had the audacity to try to act like possibly Kansas City was suppressing his stats. Man, get out of here. Come on, man. I think these two entities, the Dolphins and the and Tyreek Hill, are both doing a poor job of trying to convince themselves that they made right decisions.
Yeah, it just when you got to work overtime to convince yourself you did something, that means you did something wrong.
Exactly.
And you're doing that. You should not have to convince yourself that hard that you made the right decision. You should be able to know off the bat. We'll see how that plays out in Miami, and we'll keep an eye on them, just like we keep an eye on all the NFL teams here on the Locked On NFL podcast. We're gonna move on and play cap or no cap in just a minute here, but first we got to talk to you guys about BlueNile.com. Whether you're ready to pop the question or you're celebrating a milestone moment, find jewelry as unique as her with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. Looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing? Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available via phone or chat to help you find a memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Sports listeners will get $50 off purchases or $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement rings, so be sure to use the promo code Locked On. That's LOCKEDON, Locked On, all one word, no spaces. And remember, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So shop stress-free and find your forever piece when you go to visit BlueNile.com today. Back here on the Locked On NFL podcast, it's Chris Carter. It's your boy Q. We're breaking things down here on a Friday for you. We're going to play our old game, cap or no cap. Now, if you know, keeping up with us, if you're new to the show, cap or no cap is when we just pose a hypothesis, a theory, an idea, and we say cap or no cap. And of course, capping means you lying. No cap means you telling the truth. Cap means you're trying to represent like we think the Dolphins and Tyreek Hill are doing. So
it's a great way to close out the week. It's a fun way to close out the week, get you in the mood for the weekend.
Also, full disclosure, neither of us knew what cap and no cap meant months ago when we started this segment. It was really Q's daughter who had to tell us what exactly these meant. But we were like, the kids are saying it, and they're saying it on TikTok all the time. So we're gonna do what's cool. All right. What we're doing is we're going over Adam Schein's article from NFL.com. He gave 9 bold predictions for the 2022 NFL season. Let's start off with his first one. We're going to break these down over the next 2 segments. His first prediction is that the Patriots will finish 14th in the AFC pecking order, just above the Jets.
About last.
So just about last. Here's his Here's his breakdowns of how he sees the AFC finishing this next year. Bills at number 1, Chargers at number 2, Bengals at number 3, Colts at number 4, Raiders at 5, Dolphins at 6, Ravens at 7, Broncos at 8, Chiefs at 9, Browns at 10, Steelers at 11, Titans at 12, Jaguars 13, then Patriots, Texans, Jets.
Wow.
That's an interesting alignment here. One, because the Raiders are at 5. I kind of like that they're on a rise with Devontae Adams.
They were the 5th seed last year. Just saying. They were the 5th seed in the AFC last season.
I'm not so sure the Chiefs fall that far. Also, I'm sorry. I'm not sold on the Browns until we clear up what the heck's going on with the Deshaun Watson. There's now 24 accusers out there, and we're still not sure how this is going to play out. And you're just going to – now, here's the thing. If you know who Adam Schein is, you know he is a Browns shill. He has been calling for the end of Ben Roethlisberger, that the Browns were going to destroy him and end his life for the past 10 years. And it happened one time in the 10 years, and he was like, I called it. And it's like you've been saying it for a decade now. So, barring the Cleveland Browns thing, being okay, fine, we'll put that outside because he's a Browns fan. But looking at this, I gotta say I agree with the Bills at the top. I'm not so sure the Patriots fall down that far.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at, dog. I don't see the Patriots at number 14, even though, and I know this is a big deal, and it's probably not being talked about enough, but look, Josh McDaniels was rocking with Bill Belichick for a very long time, and I'm not just saying that because I cover the Raiders, and now he's the Raiders head coach, but that's a big time fill, now having to fill the shoes of Josh McDaniels. And really, if you look at the landscape of the guys on the offensive staff or on the staff in general, who could possibly replace Josh McDaniels as the offensive play caller, none of them are too sexy to me. I mean, you got what? Joe Judge, you got Matt Patricia, you got a couple others, but you know what I mean? Like, is it really that sexy? When you're going in and having a guy that it was there for so long and really was very instrumental in helping Mac Jones along. So I do think that they're going to take a step back from what they were last season. I just don't think that they drop all the way to 14th. I think that's a massive drop off, and I think Bill Belichick is better than that.
No, I'm with you that I think Bill Belichick is going to find a way to make these guys competitive. I mean, listen, the Patriots weren't amazing last year, but they did at least get to the playoffs, and they did fight their way in there. They found a way to be competitive. He'll find a way to be competitive. I say Adam Shine on the first one of your rankings here that you are capping, sir.
I agree 100%. That's definitely a cap. I don't see the Patriots dropping all the way down to 14.
All right, his second bold prediction here: the Chargers field a top 3 offense and a top 3 defense.
I'm going to say right now, I'm just going to go ahead and say he's capping. And the reason why is not because he's being whatever. I'm not saying that
not
he's
being facetious.
I think he's trying to be serious about this. But what do we know about the Chargers every single year when we say, look out for the Chargers, man, they're going to be that team as a guy that covers the AFC West. Right. For the last forever, it just feels like every time we believe the Chargers are going to be a damn good team, something happens. And I hate that for Charger fans. I mean, again, look, I cover the Raiders for the AFC West, so it's fine. Like, whatever. But I'm serious. Like, how many times do we hype up the Chargers? I've done it myself. Look out. Chargers got a lot of weapons, man. They're going to be great this year. And then all of a sudden, something happens. If it's injuries, if it's special teams is terrible, something always pops up. What was it last year? Brandon Staley going for 4th down when he shouldn't. Multiple times he made bad decisions like he's playing Madden. Instead of playing Madden, sometimes going against the analytics, he's got to go with smart football. It's one thing to go with analytics, but sometimes it's also to just go with smart football. So there's a few different elements they have to overcome that they have every single year. So I'm just going to say off top, he's capping. They're not going to be a top 3 offense and defense. No way.
I'm on the same boat here. So I'm also saying that Adam Shine's capping. For a second time, we're both 2 for 2 on he's capping on his takes here. But I look at the Chargers, and sure, they have amassed some names. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Kyle Van Noy. They already have Derwin James, Joey Bosa. They drafted Asante Samuel. They've got these guys. Look, on Madden, they will probably be the team that everyone's picking next year. But in real life, like you said, there's been so many times back to the days of LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates and
Phillip
Rivers in his prime. All that every year, I would see the Chargers pick to go to the Super Bowl and all this stuff, and then they would fall flat. And I'll tell you guys, I'll let y'all in on some inside secrets. There was banter in the Locked On NFL group chat. That we have a group chat between all the hosts, and someone let that firebomb off, and there was a lot of takes to be had about the Chargers in our group chat. There were some people defending them. There's a lot of people attacking them, and I was on the side of, I'm sorry, I like a lot of the players on the Chargers roster, but you got to prove to me before I ever bank on y'all to do anything significant in the NFL.
I agree. Again, I say they're capping just for those exact reasons. I just think there's too many times that we've been fooled. Hey, the Chargers are going to be great, and then they're not. So I'm just, until I see it actually happen, I'm going to say that they're capping on this one. So we'll see.
All right. We got a couple more here before we go to the break. Third bold prediction from Adam Shine: Aaron Rodgers three-peats as MVP.
No, he's capping. Who's he throwing to? I mean, who's he throwing to?
Right. And on top of that, I got Josh Allen coming up. The way he's been coming up over the past few years, I think the Bills are poised to make a serious run this year. Heck, even on Adam Schein's list, this is the part I didn't think he was capping about. I do think the Bills win the 1 seed this year. I do think
Okay.
that this is their time to make that rise, but I also think it's Josh Allen's time to take that serious step up and be an NFL MVP. I think that he has the potential to be there. He's been getting better every single year. I think this is the year that he finally takes that step up and step forward to be that guy. If not Aaron Rodgers, who's your MVP for next year? Your way too early prediction.
Oh, Jimmy G, hands down.
You're capping. I'm not even.
I can't believe it's taking so long. Of course I'm capping. No, it's not.
I just stared at you with disappointment. Like I asked you a real question. Let me take a sip of my cold coffee over here.
Unbelievable. My bad. I couldn't help myself. I heard the setup coming, and I was like, man, let me go ahead and tell Jimmy G and see what his reaction is. That's a good question, man. Who could be the MVP for next season if it's not Aaron Rodgers? Man, that's a really, really good question. You assume it's going to be a quarterback, but man, I want to ride with a defensive player, man. I really do.
Okay.
I know this is not going to work, but I'm going to ride with Aaron Donald again. I'm gonna keep on riding Aaron Donald till he gets that defensive player of the year, or not defensive, but then MVP of the season. That's what I'm gonna roll with. Aaron Donald's gonna be the guy.
You're not. Okay. This is a bonus cap or no cap. You don't buy into Aaron Donald might retire this year?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no. He ain't going. He's capping too. He's capping. He ain't going nowhere. He's going to get the bag. He's going to get more of the bag that he already has, and he's going to be happy, and he's going to go out there and ball out like he always does. He'll get double-digit sacks. He'll dominate from the interior, and someone will be looking like, man, how do you slow this dude down? And I'm not saying he's going to go win another ring, but I do think he's going to be the MVP. How about that? No Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be the other Aaron Donald.
I still say you're sleeping on my man T.J. Watt as a defensive as an MVP guy. You were sleeping on him last year. I told you he was coming, and you didn't believe me. And then
I gave him his due. I gave him his flowers, and I respected him and said, "Hey, I was wrong. I'm okay with that. At least I can admit it. It's fine."
But I feel you on the Aaron Donald type of thing. It is fun to not pick a quarterback because every year it's a quarterback. It's just that does get boring. All right, last one before this break, and then we'll finish this list here. Derek Carr leads the NFL in passing yards.
Nah, he's capping.
We are 4 for 4 on his capping.
I just think that he's capping only because I think that the Raiders' offense will be more balanced than that. I don't think Carr will be throwing the ball around the yard as much as it would take to go ahead and get that. I still think that, Patrick Mahomes will throw for more yards than Carr. I know he has Adams. I know he has Waller. I know he has Renfro. So the recipe is there. But I also know Josh McDaniels is a guy that likes to use a plethora of running backs, and he's going to want to continue to have that balanced offense. So I think Carr's is in for a big year. I really do. But I don't think he's in for a year where he has more yards passing than anyone else in the league. Going back to what you said about Josh Allen. Josh Allen could easily be the guy that has the most yards passing this year. And again, like I said at the top, I think Patrick Mahomes is the guy that could have that even without Tyreek Hill. Now, I'm not saying that's going to always translate to wins, but I do believe that he'll have a ton of yards as well.
Right, because the other part of passing yards, they easily rack up also when you're behind and you're throwing a lot.
Yep.
So I might even look to teams that have really talented quarterbacks, but maybe won't be putting up enough points, or their defense will be getting shredded a lot more. Maybe Patrick Mahomes does fall into that pit of, hey, you know what? We got to air it out because we don't got much else going up for us right now because we invested so much in this last group to go get those wins. So we're both saying he's capping here. We have 5 more things that we want to go over with Adam Schein's takes on the NFL season. Don't you worry, we're going to get to all of them and continue playing cap or no cap here on the Locked On NFL podcast. But first, we got to talk to you guys about betonline.net. Y'all know about betonline.net. It's the #1 source for all your betting stats and sports information. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, and this year's NBA Finals. The Celtics took Game 1. If you want to learn more about the rest of the series, go to betonline.net. Whoa. Did I make Q mad there?
No, I just said easy. I just said take it easy, man. I'm a Warriors fan. I'm just a little sensitive, all right? Just saying.
It's okay. It's okay. I want the Warriors to win this series too. But if you want to learn more about this series, go to betonline.net. The Stanley Cup playoffs are in their conference finals. You can go learn about that there as well. There's also Major League Baseball is well underway. It's June 10th now, so the baseball is picking up. All of that can be seen on betonline.net, and it's your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends in the action when you visit BetOnline, where the game starts. Back here on the Locked On NFL podcast, I'm Chris Carter. He's your boy Q. And we're finishing up the day with our cap or no cap game here. Finishing up Adam Shine's top 9 bold predictions for the 2022 NFL season. All right, his 5th bold prediction here. He says Nick Bosa wins Defensive Player of the Year. Cap or no cap, Q?
I mean, there's a good chance that can happen. There really is. But unfortunately, because of what I said earlier in the show, and I said that Aaron Donald was going to be the MVP, there's no way that Nick Bosa or any of the Bosas wins Defensive Player of the Year, and then Aaron Donald goes and wins MVP. So I'm just going to say he's capping.
I'm right with you. As much as Nick Bosa could be taking a step up, I think he will fall. He will fall third to both Aaron Donald and TJ Watt, and maybe even Micah Parsons be up in that mix even before him. I like the way Micah played last year.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of guys who put themselves in that conversation. But hey, who knows? Nick Bosa can make a run. And to be fair to Adam Shine, he does say Aaron Donald is always the pick, or he should be. So this is him being bold. So we totally get it. Hey, I ain't mad at that. Aaron Donald's from Pittsburgh, played at the University of Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh always loves to see him get some shine. All right, number 6, the Cardinals miss the playoffs. Now, this is a Cardinals team that needs to prove itself. There's been a lot of wondering and doubting as far as will they ever go anywhere with Kyler Murray. You and I have talked about Kyler Murray being potentially the future, maybe not the future. What's going on there? The drama. Is this a Cardinals team that misses the playoffs, Q?
I think so. I don't think Adam Shine is
no cap.
First, no cap. I don't think the Cardinals make the playoffs because of what we've seen. What's the trends that we've seen from the Cardinals each and every year? They start out hot, and then they tend to go slow towards the end of the season. They tend to fall off a little bit. That's both coach, that's quarterback, that's team. So yeah, I think that they fall off. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins to start the season, so they might even start the season a little bit slow. He's missing the first 6 games. Kyler Murray doesn't have his go-to guy. I don't believe that AJ Green is going to be that dude. I just don't. There's just a lot to not like about what the Cardinals have going on. So yeah, this is the first time I'm going to roll with Adam Shine as no capping on this situation. The Arizona Cardinals will not make the playoffs.
I'm going to stay that he's capping here. But here's why. I don't think that you're wrong about your evaluation of the Cardinals. My evaluation is of the rest of the NFC. Because remember, there's 7 teams that make the playoffs now,
right,
from your conference, right? Out of the East, you got the Cowboys and the Eagles. We'll see how that we'll see how that plays out. Out of the North, the Packers, and I'm not so sure about the Bears. Maybe the Vikings if they take a step up, but you can never count on them. Out of the South could be the most interesting thing here. You got Tampa Bay with Tom Brady back and how that could be playing out. But how do the Saints look this year? Can the Falcons find somebody? They got Marcus Mariota or whoever is their quarterback, and then the Carolina Panthers, they're fighting for their lives. I think the NFC. That's my whole thing here. Q. There's not a whole bunch of like if you go to the AFC, you look at the AFC.
What about the NFC West? What about the NFC West? You got the Cardinals, you have the 49ers, you got the Seahawks, you got the Rams. The Rams are going to make it. The 49ers are probably going to make it.
Let's bump the Seahawks out of there because they ain't doing nothing with Drew Lock or Geno Smith or whoever their quarterback is.
Okay, so the Rams. So you get the Rams or the 49ers out of the NFC West, in my opinion. They both make it in.
So, but here's my problem with that. You get 3 wild card teams. So you get. I'll give you 2 playoff teams in the East, 1 in the North, 1 in the South, which means 3 come again from the West. That's exactly what happened last year. I think I'm with you that Arizona's going to fall off again. Okay. I just think that they're that team that hangs in there and gets that 7th spot.
Okay, no, your logic makes sense. I'm just not rocking with you on
I
this
feel
one.
you.
I'm going to just go against you just because at some point Adam Shine's got to be no capping. So I'm going to say he's no capping right here.
I got you. All right. Next one here. J.K. Dobbins wins comeback player of the year. Cap or no cap?
I'm trying to think who else is up for it. That's the big thing. You always have to wonder who else is up for comeback player of the year. Of course, he tore his ACL.
Christian McCaffrey.
Eh.
Daniel Jones.
Nah.
Derrick Henry.
Ooh, possible.
Deshaun Watson.
No.
That'll be a very that'll be that's the last NFL wants right now, man.
Right.
That's not, you don't want them problems, man. It's bad enough if he plays a game. We just saw that O'Brien interviewing is like the women that are accusing him of what's going on right now, and and how bad it's making the NFL look. If this man not only plays but wins an award, this league is going to be in trouble. So I think that'll be a lot of politics. But okay, here's the top odds getters. If out here are Derrick Henry, Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, Christian McCaffrey, Daniel Jones, Mitch Trubisky. Odd, but okay. Travis Etienne, though, is he coming back because he never?
No, he hasn't done anything.
Right. Cam Akers, then J.K. Dobbins, then Robert Woods. Then you got others like Daniil Hunter, Marcus Mariota, Will Fuller, blah 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 blah. So you got all those guys down there. I'm sorry, I'm cap. I think you're capping here. You're reaching really hard with J.K. Dobbins when Derrick Henry is staring you right in the face.
I got Jameis Winston, so yeah, I think he's capping. I'm gonna roll with Jameis Winston. I'm gonna rock with Jameis, famous Jameis. He was on to some good things last season, and then all of a sudden he tore his ACL and he fell off. So I think he comes back, bounces back, has a big time season, and a lot of it has to do with Michael Thomas being healthy. Also, it has to do with Chris Olave being drafted. It also has to do with the fact that they went out there and got the young man from that was formerly of Cleveland, Jarvis Landry. So I think that there's a lot to like about the weapons that they have in New Orleans. So I'm going to rock with Jameis Winston getting the comeback player of the year.
All right. Number 8 here on his top 9 bowl predictions for 2022. Justin Jefferson ranks top 3 in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Cap or no cap?
I'm going to say he's capping. I'm going to say Kirk Cousins is going to have a down year. I don't think that he's going to be that dude. I think he's going to have a few question marks about what's going to happen moving forward. Of course, they've got a new head coach there in Minnesota, so I think that it's going to be a little transition period, if that makes sense. So I think that Kirk Cousins is going to have a little bit of a down year, which means Justin Jefferson is going to have a little bit of down year. So Adam Shine is definitely capping in that situation.
I'm gonna go with no cap because I think that this is gonna be my first no cap for Adam Shine, and here's my reason why. Kirk Cousins himself might have a down year, but he's gonna, in his downness, he's gonna be chucking the ball to Justin Jefferson. I think the Vikings, like I said before, they're gonna fall down in some games, and they're gonna need to heave some passes. That's gonna get Justin Jefferson some yards. He already finished 4th in receptions last year. He finished, let's see, 2nd in yards and 6th in touchdowns. So he's already in that range. I think the ball gets forced to him a bit more next year and puts himself there. So I don't think he's crazy with that one. I do think Justin Jefferson's a heck of a talent, and it could be just a matter of Kirk Cousins just needing to heave the ball so much to him that'll get him those numbers.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I definitely can, but I just think that there's a transition period going on in Minnesota. So I think that Kirk Cousins, I've never been a big Kirk Cousins guy anyway, never been a big firm believer in him. So I just think that he's going to take a step back. And I do like Justin Jefferson a lot, but I don't think he's going to take that much of a step further, step forward. So yeah, I think that they're definitely capping in this situation.
Last bowl prediction to see if he's capping or not. The Chicago Bears finish with the worst record, earning the first overall pick.
I think that first overall pick is in Jacksonville. I really do. I know that Doug Peterson's there.
How many times are they going to be right there, man?
Hey, man, Jacksonville's still going to be Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville has a chance to be number 1, and I think Houston has an opportunity to be number 1. So I'm going to look at both of those organizations. I think that Chicago will luck themselves into a few victories, but I don't think it's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I don't think they're going to earn that. So yeah, I'm going to say that he's capping in that situation.
No, see, I'm with you on that because, and not even in particular because of the because I think so highly of the Bears, is just because you're right. The AFC South has just been a nightmare.
Yep.
As much as I hope that Lovie Smith and those guys turn things around in Houston. It's it's a lot to ask. You still don't have you still have Davis Mills as your quarterback. You're
Right.
rebounding from just disaster after disaster. Um, I could see them falling down a bit. Plus the Chicago Bears, they might not finish last in their division. The
Right.
Detroit Lions
Exactly.
are
Yeah.
still there. So,
Yep.
I'm so I can't put the Chicago Bears there when you still got the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the
Yep.
Seattle Seahawks without Russellson. You
Yeah.
still got Washington. We got to see what they do. The Giants, and that's just the NFC, and then that's not even including the Texans and the Jaguars over from the AFC. So yeah, I say he's capping. I think that's a bit of a reach. I get what he's doing there because the Bears haven't done nearly enough around Justin
Right.
Fields, and maybe even Justin Fields is part of the problem. Who knows? But my point here, there's too many other really bad teams that are probably going to have a really rough year for me to say Chicago's going to be the last place team.
Yeah, I agree
Cap it.
100%. Yeah, you got to be capping, man. I think Justin Fields is going to really take a step forward. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but I'm not saying he's going to be a great quarterback, but I think he's going to be better than what he showed last season. I think he just, like I said, takes that next step. So I just can't see them getting the number one overall pick. I just don't see that one.
Absolutely. Well, we just played cap or no cap. Fun game. Getting to see what's what's going on in the NFL. Going over Adam Shine's predictions for the bowl season. We talked about of course the Dolphins as well to start the show. That was fun. So go check out Adam Shine's work on NFL.com if you want to read more of his bowl predictions there. But if you want to check out more of this podcast, the Locked On NFL podcast, check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, and YouTube. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all of our daily Monday through Friday episodes. Q and I rock out on Fridays, but we got hosts all throughout the week breaking it down for you as only Locked On Podcast Network can. Q, it's always great to do with you, man. Let people know they can find you, follow you, and get more of your work.
Everything is on Twitter, my man. At your boy Q254. It's like a tracking device. You could always find me quick, fast, and in a hurry. Again, at your boy Q254. Still representing that Central Texas, even though I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Chris, I know you're doing some big things. I know you started another new job. So how can everyone find your work and what you got going on?
You can find me, Chris Carter, on Twitter and Instagram at Carter Critiques. You can also read my work at SteelersNow.com for the PittsburghSportsNow.com franchise. You can also listen to my show and watch my show just like you watch this show and listen to Q's show as well. The Locked On Steelers podcast, just like Q hosts the Locked On Raiders podcast. If you're a Steelers fan or you just want to check out what's going on with the team, you can check out my show, just like Q's show, just like this show on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, YouTube, anywhere podcasts are hosted, breaking it down for you there. Thanks again, Q, for helping me out and co-piloting the show with me on a Friday. We hope you all have a great weekend. We'll be back next week breaking things down and getting you ready as mini camps are rolling out all throughout the NFL.